$10,000 student loan forgiveness. Well, I've got two sides of that. Number one, if you're a student and someone were willing to pay off $10,000 of your student loan, I would obviously accept, especially when it's the government. I'd take full advantage of it. Now, on the other side of the fence, what if somebody paid off their loans? Should they get $10,000 rebate? Yes, they should get their money back. And if those people got their money back, well, then how come everyone doesn't get their money back? So that's why it's a bad idea. The government needs to now go back and repay everybody who already paid as agreed.
I'm so tired of these lame arguments the right has against student loan forgiveness. It's overplayed, it lacks substance, and it's an incredibly selfish and ignorant outlook to have. After Biden announced the cancellation of up to $20,000 of student debt relief that would alleviate the debt of up to 20 million people, conservative politicians and commentators like this guy are losing their minds over it. I wish they had this much energy for corporate executives and billionaires when they get bailouts. Instead, they want to shame people like you and me for needing help.
The people that are delinquent shouldn't be qualified. Why? Well, because they were delinquent in the first place. Well, that's who really needs it, Brad. The people that are delinquent, the people that can't pay, that's who really needs it. Well, then how do we determine? And why are you just helping the people that need it and not the people that didn't need it? Why are you rewarding bad behavior? You should be rewarding the people that didn't need the forgiveness. The ones that went out and got a job and used their degree and made the money and paid it back. But you're rewarding the people that didn't pay it back. You're rewarding the people that didn't do any good with it.
What is this bad behavior he's talking about? Notice how he doesn't elaborate, but don't worry, I will. The problems Americans experience with student debt aren't individual shortcomings. It's a systemic crisis. 68% of jobs don't pay a living wage, and 62% of jobs don't support middle-class livelihoods. We're still going through a 2-year pandemic. And the cost of healthcare, education, rent, food, and gas is at record highs. How can anyone think that people who are struggling just to get by are delinquent? It's a dumb argument wrapped around an excuse to be cruel to people. I think this TikTok alone shows how bad the argument against student debt forgiveness is.
When you read this student loan tweet in full, it's actually kind of crazy. This is definitely one of the crazier student loan stories I think I've ever really read, to be honest with you.
People have paid towards their loans, and it's only put a dent in their costs because of the burden of interest. Regardless if people have paid towards it or not, this should be looked at as a win for working class Americans. People who did what society told them to do: go to college, get a degree, get a job, become a productive member of that society. It's not a hard concept to grasp. I honestly think it's not enough. I think all of student debt should be forgiven, and this is a step in the right direction to make that happen. We have to continue to push the dial and hold politicians accountable to forgive everything. And best believe Republican lawmakers are trying to get in the way of that. The Independent cited an article in the Virginia Law Review which states that there's no legal standings for a challenge to the Biden administration's ruling. However, GOP lawmakers are still trying to make a case for it or create other barriers. Legislators in North Carolina and Mississippi are going to tax the canceled loans as income, and more red states are going to follow suit. It's like Republicans are in a competition for how much they can screw people over, even if they are people on their side who could use it. They just want votes, maybe, but it seems like a good strategy to actually help people. I encourage everyone in a red state to call the legislators and demand that they keep the exemption for canceled loans to be tax-free. This is our bailout. We should be getting it without any strings attached. Biden should be doing more to prevent anything that gets in the way of that. This is Rebel HQ. Like this video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.